lunch, mate. My ass.
I'm only 4. Bonjour, Monsieur Pussycat.
Cracking toast, Robert.
Start spreading the news.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the short podcast about short films. I'm your host, and we are discussing the Academy Award for Best Animated Short. Today's episode is about the 8th year of the award at the 12th Academy Awards, which celebrates the films of 1939, our last year for this season of the podcast. Today's guest is a friend of mine, Jakob Sanchez. Hello, Jakob.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I am doing all right. Watched some animated shorts, and most of them were good.
We'll get to those in a moment, but tell us, what is your familiarity with the category Best Animated Short?
Okay, so all right, so I tried starting in 2016 or 2017 technically. I wanted to watch all the movies that were nominated for Academy Awards, and I have never ever completed that goal for each season. And it's around this time, the Best Animated Short, where I start to freeze up a little, not because the movies themselves are bad. I think, did I watch all of them for 2022 or 2021? No, I didn't. 2020/2021, I think, is when I kind of excuse me. I think a lot of these I'm mostly familiar with any of the Pixar shorts that win, and any of the Disney shorts that win. Of course, looking through the list, Paper Man, Day and Night, which was nominated in 2010, or Mike's New Car, of course, or that For the Birds short, which I think
the classics that have come in on all the Pixar DVD releases and all that.
Looking through all of these, a lot of the Tom and Jerry ones I've seen, basically any of the Looney Tunes ones I've seen. When it comes to the short as a whole, I'm not as familiar with the overall category.
Hey, that's okay. You're probably more familiar than most of the guests I've had on this. like outside of the ones who have seen everything like me, you're probably you're top in terms of familiarity. All right, but let's just get into the shorts. This year has 4 nominees. Our first nominee and the year's winner is The Ugly Duckling, directed by Jack Cutting and Clyde Geronimi. This is the 14th nomination for Walt Disney and his 8th consecutive win in this category, winning every year of the category so far, including last year for Ferdinand the Bull. This is also the 9th nomination for the Silly Symphonies series of shorts and their 7th win. However, this is the last time we'll discuss the Silly Symphonies, as this is the last film released under that branding. The Silly Symphonies were experiments to help Disney animators hone their skills for their eventual feature film. So when they did make that feature film, why bother spending resources towards the Silly Symphonies when they could be making more features and experimenting in that field?
What was the feature film?
What was that?
What was the feature film, if I may ask?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the big thing that they did. But yeah. So after this point, Disney shorts were largely just their characters, Donald, Goofy, Pluto, and the rats. There were still non-character shorts, but they were far less frequent and not considered part of any kind of series or anything. So for our final Silly Symphony, we see an adaptation of the Hans Christian Andersen story, The Ugly Duckling. And it's about how a duck family ostracizes their newest child simply because it looks and sounds different from the others. And so it goes looking for a place where it belongs. Jakob, what did you think of The Ugly Duckling?
I thought this was really, really cute. I thought, I don't know, I thought this was a really adorable, funny, but it basically in some ways this feels like the perfect animated short film. It runs through every single emotion it can through these 10 minutes of through through its runtime, through these 10 minutes. And that's what I enjoyed about it overall. It starts out like funny because, or at first it starts off cute because it's like, oh, you see these parents and they're really excited about their ducks, and then there's a duckling that doesn't fit in with the rest, and then you're thinking, oh shit, well, these parents are assholes. Then like here's the joke, which I did think was funny, which is, hey, it's implied that apparently they're yelling at each other about like, hey, did you have an affair with the swan? I liked how it was all through, like, there was no dialogue, how it was all done just through quacks and chirps and whatnot.
Yeah, this is just a very kind of cute, simple, kind of quintessential kind of short. And it's just like I kind of resent the title of The Ugly Duckling when it's a very cute duck.
It's
Or, like,
so
or swan or whatever.
cute.
He's absolutely adorable. But I guess he doesn't look quite like a duck, so I guess he's ugly for a duckling, but is a very cute swan. But I don't know. I think they should have appreciated it more. And it's just like, this is very similar to something like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, where it's just like, for most of the short, you just feel bad because it's everybody just being mean to this poor little kid. Like, he is just born and already everybody hates him. It's just like, you just feel bad for it. But then eventually it's just like, at the end, he finds the Swan family and they accept him and blah 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 blah. It's very cute and heartwarming and all that. Like it this is just kind of the quintessential like Disney short, like the kind of thing you think of if you were to imagine a Disney short film from this time in your head, that, or at least one that wasn't one of the character shorts. But yeah, and of course it's very well animated, and Disney was the peak animators at this time, and the music is great, and it's just all together just a very well put together short. Or anything else you have to say?
Well, I like the movements a lot. That was something I kept thinking about as well while watching this. And I, especially because like my favorite little sequence in the film is when the duckling, he gets kicked out by his family, and then he tries to find the one, like those birds, but he accidentally eats all their food, or is told to like kind of spit up all of their food. But my favorite sequence is when he gets scared by the wooden duck. And like, because like he's like, oh wow, I found my home, but he doesn't understand that this is not a sentient duck. This is not a one that can, it's not alive. It's just a wooden thing. And you kind of, I like how you see like the duck's kind of perspective, just like trying to, to try and make this its little home or its family, like trying to make this little wooden duck his family, but he doesn't understand that, like, nope, it's not alive. It just kind of does its thing. It just rocks back and forth, and then he just like is thinking, oh shit, he's gonna kill me. But I enjoy I enjoyed that sequence, because you kind of had that feeling of fear about how this duck is going to react to it, and about how if the wooden duck is going to kill the duck, which is very dark, but it all ends with a happy ending anyway, finally being led into a family. And also the honk is adorable.
Yeah, the goose honk.
Every time the honk happened.
Yeah, and it's like the only voice credit that I saw around is that Clarence Nash was one of the voices, and he's the voice of Donald Duck. So I'm wondering, like, did he make all these noises, or like were some of these like just like bird call like things or something like that?
I believe it. Maybe he used a bird caller, but like I believe he probably made like the family duck.
Oh yeah,
sound.
the duck family, when they were quote unquote talking to each other, that definitely sounded very Nashy. But like the goose honks and like the other birds and stuff, I'm curious about. But going back to the wooden duck, first of all, I really like the design of it. I think it's a very nice looking wooden duck. Um,
Mhm.
and also, it's like the point where, so like as you said, it just kind of like bobs back and forth, just kind of in one plane of motion. And part of me, it kind of looked like the, you know how in like 80s 90s kind of Disney movies, they would sometimes like render something with computer graphics and then trace over it in 2D. It kind
Yeah.
of looked like that to me,
Ooh.
even though I know for certain that that wasn't possible at this time. But it had kind of like that kind of fakeish looking kind of, like it was so perfectly just on one plane of motion that it's just really well animated, I guess. You do
Yeah.
2D so well, it looks like it was rendered in 3D.
Oh yeah.
uh,
Incredible.
but and yeah, like you said, the like the first person shots of like the wooden duck like coming down onto the duckling or swanling. I don't know what a baby swan's even called.
uh, yeah, swanling, I guess
Yeah,
it's easy.
we'll stick with swanling. That's
Mhm.
a nice word anyway. Uh, but yeah, it was just really like it's a bit redundant to say that Disney's good at animation, especially at this time. But you know, they really are. Uh, and I think that's about the end of our discussion here. So we'll move on to our second nominee, which is Detouring America, directed by Tex Avery.
Oh,
This
this is Tex Avery.
this was
Shame.
Tex Avery. He has a lot of shorts like this. But yeah, this is the second nomination for Leon Schlesinger and Warner Brothers' Merry Melodies. And fun fact, there is a rumor that Leon Schlesinger boycotted the Oscars due to their preferential treatment of Walt Disney, which, you know, is fair.
Fair.
Uh, this short is a parody of travelogue documentaries showing different locations in the US and making a joke before moving on to another location. Uh, I thought the short was not very good. it
No.
so like it like I said, it's just different. It goes to someplace in America, makes a joke, then moves on. And it's just like, and most of these jokes aren't very funny. Like there's an occasional one that would be funny. Like to my like I watched this short last night, and the only one that I can remember that stands out as like getting a chuckle out of me was there's this one of the segments was in like the South somewhere, and it was like adventure going through the I guess it wasn't even south, some jungle area. He's going through and he's like, there's this mosquito coming after him, and it lands on his hand. The guy swats it, and then the mosquito yells out that famous Mel Blanc like yell. And I just thought that I just love that yell. He is so good at yelling. And
Yeah, that got a chuckle out of me too,
yeah.
because I was not expecting the fucking mosquito to just sound like Mel Blanc.
Yeah, it's a good joke, but most of it is just the most boring kind of joke you could make. Like I guess this one's like isn't the worst joke, but it's just like there's this gold miner in California, and he's like going at the gold. And he's like he finds a piece of gold, and he's like whispering to the audience, and he's like, "I finally found it." Yeah, and then the moment he whispers gold, is like all these other gold miners come in and start mining all over the place, and it's like that is recognizable as a joke. It's not that funny, but you know, it's a joke, and then you move on to some other thing. It's very kind of stayed. It's also got racism in it, which you
Oh,
know
the
is fun.
racism is unavoidable, much like a lot of like old Warner Brothers shorts. I'm sure Disney was doing
Yeah,
this too, but
yeah, yeah. Over over this first decade of the category, I don't have an exact number on my head, but I think we've covered like 4 or 5 different racist shorts so far, and there's been 27 nominees, so it's pretty significant amount.
yeah. Oh, geez. And this one especially, it was just like the it was just like unfunny racism and unfunny jokes, and this kind of made this was a chore to watch. Like I felt like they were gonna do something with that human fly, also like about the guy who was
Oh
climbing up.
yes,
like 800 stories or whatnot.
Yeah, he's climbing the Empire State Building.
And like he's climbing up the Empire State Building, and then like, and they keep like fucking cutting back to this guy.
Mhm.
And then like all he yells is like, and like the narrator's like, hey, you've climbed up a bunch of stories, do you have anything you want to say to the audience? And he's just like, help, and then cut to credits, which
Mhm.
I guess is kind of funny on paper, but it just it's nothing. It's a nothing punchline.
Yeah, like I was getting kind of annoyed how often they kept coming back to the human fly, and it's just like, because there wasn't any joke there when they were coming back to him. It's just remember this guy exists, and then you go on to the other scenes, and it's just let's. I think we should talk more about the racism. And so it's like there's two different sequences. First, you get a scene in like the Arctic or something, and there's this black character who wants to go back to Virginia, and then an Eskimo comes out, and a line in the song is like carry me back to old Virginia, and so the guy does it, carries him back to Virginia, and drops him off over the state line, and then he runs off, and that's the whole joke. Like
it was, yeah.
The thing is, the only thing racist about that joke is just the fact that the designs of the characters are so clearly like stereotypical, and like there isn't, like, the joke isn't about them being black or anything. It's just, they are, and the design is horrific.
Yeah. Also, by the way, that
oh.
word describing the native, that's
yeah,
derogatory term.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But just want to let you know. But yeah, the jokes in that were extremely like there was absolutely nothing about it that worked. And then of course you're right, the fucking designs are just horrible. And especially like I think it was, what was the setting of the next scene, the scene with the Native Americans, which was in
there was one part, I think it's weird that they had like two separate scenes back to back with the Native Americans. It's like first one was just somewhere in the west, like probably like Arizona or something, and then they jumped to South Dakota for they specifically say the Sioux Indians. It's like that's the longest sequence of the film, the ones with the natives. As just like, I wonder, like why is that the longest one? It's just,
yeah,
it's just, yeah, this is just not a good short that's worth watching or remembering. And to be fair, it's not well remembered. People don't be like, wow, Detouring America, I loved that short as a kid. It's just, it's a short that exists.
Yeah, when you're thinking of Tex Avery, you're thinking of like Droopy Dog or something like that. That was Tex Avery, right?
He probably had at least one Droopy Dog short. I don't know.
Yeah, like most of this, this never got reruns on like Cartoon Network or whatnot. This was my first time I had ever heard of this.
Yeah.
This isn't, I'm pretty certain this isn't on any like classic best of DVDs, like, because I'm sure Warner Brothers wants to be like far away from this as possible.
Oh, and I just went to the Tex Avery like list of films by Tex Avery page, just looking through it, and just like it has notes for like how, like, if short was racist, it describes how each short was racist.
Oh,
and it's just like, and like alongside with like other notes, like, oh, this short was in black and white, this short features Cecil Turtle, this short was racist. It's like they just put it like right next to it. But yeah, he did direct some Droopy shorts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but these things exist. We got to recognize that they exist and move past it, learn from it,
Yeah, exactly. Or Texactly, as I should
exactly.
say.
Dude. Let's move on to our third nominee, which is Peace on Earth, directed by Hugh Harman. This is Hugh Harman's third and final nomination, and his only nomination without his longtime animation partner, Rudolph Ising. About Peace on Earth, it was a very popular short. It's listed on the 50 greatest cartoons list and was even submitted for a Nobel Peace Prize, though perhaps its efforts for peace were for naught, considering this was released 3 months after Germany invaded Poland and led us into World War II. Anyway, Peace on Earth is about a group of chipmunks on Christmas Eve when the children ask their grandfather about the men mentioned in the carol "Peace on Earth, Goodwill to Men," and the grandfather describes a war that ended humanity. Jacob, what did you think of Peace on Earth?
This one I thought was pretty fascinating. Because when I was watching this, like, I kept thinking about the war scenes themselves and how, like, I feel like, okay, did you ever see Pink Floyd's The Wall?
Yes.
There are moments in that and like the animation sequences, like during the Blitzkrieg sequence of that film,
Mhm.
I think paid homage to Peace on Earth, like the bleakness of said war scenes and whatnot, like in the way the colors were used. And of course, like, the inspiration was the actual war that was happening and the invasions. But I kept thinking about this sequence and also, again, like how absolutely bleak and unflinching these sequences are too, especially for a cartoon released around this time. But I guess, with the Nazis invading Poland and with the rest of the world entering war, they had to make this as unflinching as possible.
Mhm.
And also the message, which is basically the only way peace on Earth can be obtained is like when the Earth is populated by animals again, which I thought was
Mhm.
like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Because I guess people were just thinking about that and thinking about war and yeah, I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
yeah, you're fine. But yeah, this is a really well animated short. Like the colors are insane, and like specifically the sequences that are showing the war that ended all men, and like they are really, like, the color work is so amazing, and the animations on the characters, and like when they show like the death of the last human or whatever, is the movements of the guy is really good, really insane. And it's just like, and something else I noticed about this short is that, like, so when I first watched it, it's like it's Christmas time, and
Mhm.
like I was trying to, like, I had seen this before, and I was trying to remember, like, why are these animals celebrating Christmas if humanity is dead? But then it's just like, after the war's over and stuff, the animals, they find a Bible in a destroyed church, and it's just like, it's open up to the page, "Thou shalt not kill," and it's just like, the humans really should have followed this. And then they're like flipping through it, and then it's basically implied that these animals built their society on the Christian Bible, and so that's why they celebrate Christmas.
Yeah. Makes me wonder too, because not to go r/atheism or whatnot, like, but I was thinking to myself, like, wait, is the same shit going to happen? Is it just going to be a big cycle of everything?
I mean, it
Like,
could be.
because like they're kind of building this on this sort of Christian society or whatnot. Is that same sort of power struggle or whatnot going to happen with these animals and whatnot?
Yeah, like, I really want to know how it is that they maintain peace, because this is a society with all different kinds of animals, with predators and prey in it. And it's like, maybe this is a prequel to like Zootopia or something. Like, maybe this is all connected, you know? Or no, it's actually a prequel to Sing. That's it.
To Sting?
Sing and Sing too.
Oh. So
But
that's why,
yeah,
yeah, they're singing in the opening scene. So
exactly.
this is our Christmas version of Sing.
They should make a Christmas Sing movie where it's just like they just sing a bunch of Christmas songs.
Oh God, I could already fucking see that. Why are you implanting these thoughts in my head?
No, they wouldn't make it like a whole feature. It'd just be like a direct to TV thing, like those Shrek Christmas specials and stuff.
Shrek the Halls.
Yeah, Donkey's Christmas Shrektacular.
Oh, what a classic.
Uh, but yeah,
Oh,
outside of the Sing talk, this is just a really good short, and like sure it's a bit hokey, but it is just very emotionally evocative, and of course, like we said, the animation is just so good. Like it makes up for how kind of cliche and basic the kind of messaging is.
yeah, I did enjoy it overall because of said atmosphere, and yeah, especially like that big contrast between what happens after the war and what's happening during the war. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed it for that.
All right. So our fourth and final nominee is The Pointer, directed by Clyde Geronimi. This is the 15th nomination for Walt Disney. It's been 8 years of this category, and Walt Disney has garnered 15 nominations, which is insane. What else is insane is Mickey Mouse, and this is the Rat's fourth nomination. In The Pointer, Mickey and Pluto go on a hunting trip, but really, I view this short as Mickey is an asshole to Pluto and karma bites him in the ass.
Yes.
Because I really this short really encompasses what I hate about Mickey Mouse as a character. Because one of the so let's just do a run through of this short. So Mickey and Pluto, they're on this hunting trip, and Mickey's like, we're gonna go out there and get like a big bear steak or something. And it's like Pluto's all excited, and then they go out and then eventually Pluto sees a quail or something and he tries to jump on it. But that's not what he's supposed to do. He's just supposed to stand and point, and then Mickey will go and shoot him. So when Pluto messes up, Mickey just berates him like for a whole minute. He's just talking about how awful Pluto is at this job, how he's so disappointed in him. And it's just awful. And it's like, this is a significant chunk of the short. And it's just like you're just watching Pluto get sadder and sadder while Mickey is just fucking talking shit about him. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, Mickey, I hate you so much. Leave Pluto alone. He is a dog. He makes mistakes sometimes. Let it go. Maybe just train your dog better.
And that's what he does immediately afterwards
Exactly.
too.
It's
So
like he like immediately after he's just like, oh, I can't stay mad at you. And then he's just like, okay, you're just supposed to stand there. And it's just like, you didn't need to fucking shame him. And but anyway, so then in the short we get so of course Pluto now follows his direction. When he sees an animal, he just stands there and points, but Mickey doesn't see him. Instead, Mickey keeps walking along, and eventually there's a bear, and the bear starts following Mickey, but Mickey thinks it's just Pluto. And meanwhile, Pluto is still just standing there as like all these forest creatures start crowding around him and like climbing all over him and stuff, which is cute. It's nice to see that. It's just all these animals interacting with Pluto and stuff. And meanwhile, Mickey eventually realizes the bear's behind him. And then the bear starts attacking him. Mickey's running away. It's a very fun and joyful scene watching Mickey fear for his life. And eventually Pluto and Mickey meet back up, and then they run away from the bear, and then their hunting trip is over, or well, it's not over, but they're back at their campsite. They are hunting for a can of beans that they lost earlier, that they threw away, thinking that they would not need beans or whatever. And so yeah, this short is very standard kind of Mickey Mouse fare. One, I hate Mickey Mouse personally in the short, and also there's some good Pluto bits because Pluto is the best part of any Mickey short. And also it's just like there's just some good slapstick comedy, like the stuff with the bear I think is just generally good and stuff, but again it gets dragged down by Mickey being awful. What do you think, Jacob?
So before I give my opinion, I want to ask you, because I'm not that familiar with Mickey Mouse shorts. Like maybe a little bit. Like I'm more familiar with like the goofy stuff and like, you know, how to play football.
Yeah.
And what is it about, like, what I don't necessarily know what is Mickey as a character, like especially in these early shorts.
That's the thing. He has no character. He's very, very bland. Like he's just meant to be this kind of everyman kind of character. And like in the earlier stuff, it's kind of a ripoff on like the Popeye olive oil and Pluto, where it's just like Mickey tries to court Minnie, and then you got Pete in there trying to stop him or try to get Minnie for himself. So yeah, he's and then as it kind of moves on, he's just meant to be this kind of uh everyman normal person kind of thing, but also very non-controversial, very like he became the face of Disney because he's meant to be this kind of this pure idea of a person or something. And it's like it's a very like stark contrast to someone like Donald, who is the true everyman because he has emotions, he feels things. You can recognize that he has he there are things that he likes, there are things that he dislikes. He can be happy, he can hate things. Meanwhile, Mickey has none of that. uh so yeah, and so like it's also very interesting to think about one of the very key things that really distincts all the main trio of the Mickey Mouse crew is what happens when they go into war. Like when America goes to war, what happens to the characters? Mickey, he falls out of use because, well, for the wartime at least, because they don't want Mickey in the war. That is a very bad kind of image. You know who does go to war? Donald. Like Donald is the one who is in the because he, like I said, he is the true everyman. Like not the fake kind of way that Mickey is. He is the true person. And so the best way to get sympathy for your war effort is to get Donald out there. And then for Goofy, Goofy doesn't go to war, but he still makes shorts. He is the comic relief. He is the one that they have distract people from the war. And that's when you get the shorts like how to play football, how to swim, how to ski. It's just like Goofy's out there just trying to make people laugh. And so yeah, that's the difference between the three.
Okay. Thank you. I because like when I was watching this, and I think I did like it overall. I think again the slapstick I thought was great. The one of my favorite cartoon cliches that will never stop being old is somebody does not bother to look behind them and realize that they're fucking like it's like, you know, not the actual person that they or animal or character or whatnot is, like, you know, that's not them behind them. Yeah, that's not Pluto behind you. You smacked the nose of a bear. Which I thought that was honestly hilarious. And Pluto, of course, was cute. I also was like, when I was watching this, I'm like, fucking leave Pluto alone. Like, don't insult this poor dog. He was just like, you know, he's trying his best. And yeah, that was definitely my least favorite part of the short as well. But again, like the slapstick stuff was really fun. I liked the final bit where they finally get their beans after looking, and he's excited after, you know, throwing away the beans and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
What was interesting about this too was that this short was not on Disney Plus. And like I had to like go to like Daily Motion to find this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering why, and I'm like thinking to myself, is it because they don't want the image of, you know, Mickey with like a fucking double barrel shotgun yelling at Pluto and like, you know, trying to hunt for birds and bears? Do they just not want that image associated with their mascot?
I don't know. What shorts make it onto Disney Plus and what shorts don't, I think is just a mystery to me. Like I actually went and watched like all the short films that they have on Disney Plus, or at least the early short films. And it's just like there's a lot of bad stuff on there. Like there's a lot of shorts that feature like content warnings about like the short may be insensitive to some viewers. And it's like there's also a lot of shorts where it's just like you have like this is not the worst that it gets of Pluto just being absolutely destroyed by Mickey Mouse, like where the whole short is just him being so hateful to him. Like
What?
like I think Society Dog Show is what it's called. I think that is like one of the worst when it comes to like the treatment of Pluto. Oh, and it's like that whole short I think is just Pluto suffering. And then but yeah, it's just like I feel like it's just they didn't happen. They just happened to not put it on, or maybe they even used to have it on, but they like to rotate what shorts they have on. They don't want everything on it this at one time. So it's just like, oh, we'll take these shorts off for now and put these ones on this time. So it's like now you can and watch these instead. I don't know. It's the the marketing of streaming services befuddles me, like with the choices they make.
It's the thing, like it's the Disney Vault. That's how they kind of like did their entire marketing campaign. I'm like, ooh, you get to see everything that we have in the Disney Vault, and they're rotating out their short films. That's really weird, honestly.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like with the features, I can understand that because it's like, oh, it's like, oh, they finally have Beauty on there now. Now I'll go and watch that. But it's like with the short films, people don't really care about them. It's just like they most like I know from experience that most people don't really know about the short films that are on Disney Plus. And, and it's just like hey, nobody's going to care if suddenly they add the pointer to Disney Plus. It'll just be like, okay, this is a short that exists. I now know this exists. But it's not a marketing thing. It's just it'll either be on there or it won't. It's like most people, if they're going to watch it, they'll just want to watch any Mickey Mouse short or any Disney short. It's just like they pick one at random. So it's just like, stop being so stingy, Disney. Just put all your fucking shorts on your fucking stupid streaming service.
yeah, I I agree with that.
I think that's a good place to end. uh,
Yeah, honestly,
uh,
there's not much to say about this one. I thought it was fun.
yeah, it's a mediocre. It's a fine short. It would be better if Vicky weren't such a fucking asshole, but as is, it's fine. Um, but now that we've gone through and talked about the four nominees, we will rank all of them. So, Jacob, start us off with your number four.
My number, okay, it's Detouring America.
Of
No
course.
fanfare. It's like that one was easily the
Yeah.
worst out of these.
Same for me. Detouring America at number four. It's not funny and it's also racist. Number three.
Number three, I think I will go with. I'm gonna go with the pointer.
Yeah,
I think
I'm surprised it took you that long to figure it out.
because like look, I was genuinely kind of caught between Peace on Earth and the pointer. If I had to give them the score, it would probably be like both the six. I think again, Peace on Earth I think is very good, but it's again maybe a little too hokey for my taste. But the pointer I originally did like more think, but like thinking about it more and more, I was just like, yeah, these moments are kind of like I don't want to watch fucking Mickey Mouse be an asshole to his beloved dog, but like I think the slapstick was enough for me to be saved. It's like, okay, this is a fine watch, and like I think it's a fun way to spend 8 minutes. And I like the design of the bear too.
Yeah, the bear's really nice. My number three is also the pointer. Like I said, it's like it's a fine whatever kind of Mickey Mouse short, or and would be better were it not for the Pluto shit talk. What's your? I assume your number two is Peace on Earth.
Yes.
Uh, go ahead, talk some more.
Peace on Earth. Yeah, Peace on Earth is number two. Again, I have maybe it's a little hokey towards the end, but again, overall, that mixture, it manages to balance the grim and the bleak and the hopeful and the bright very, very well. And I think that is what makes it overall a very good short.
Yeah. My number two is the Ugly Duckling,
Oh,
which because that is just it's a really good kind of silly symphony short where it's just retells this kind of fairy tale. The animals are cute. It's just a fine short. Or I didn't really love it like I do some of the other shorts in this series, but it's just a very solid, good short that like anybody could sit down, watch, and enjoy, I think. And so your number one is Ugly Duckling.
I thought this was honestly, I thought this was just a genuinely great short and was just again like I thought the storytelling was really good. I loved the voice acting in it. I loved the movements of the characters. Again, it takes you on to me this is kind of like a perfect Disney short. Maybe not like perfect, but it to me it yeah, like what you said earlier, if you wanted to show somebody like what a great animated short film should be, this is it. It just goes through all the notions, all the movements. I think the characters are funny, and also, this Swanling story is tragic, but he ends up finding a happy ending. And I like the moral of, hey, no matter what, you're gonna in your own life, if your blood family abandons you, you will find your chosen family. You will find the people that mean most to you.
Yeah.
I like.
I didn't even think about that. It's a nice found family kind of story. Yeah. But yeah, they should not call this the Ugly Duckling. They should call it the Beautiful Swanling.
Yes.
But yeah, my number one was Peace on Earth, which, but before I rewatched these shorts, my number one was the Ugly Duckling, but Peace on Earth just really kind of moved itself up. It's really just like the amazing way that it like really sets the tone and the beautiful animation. It's just like not only are those like war scenes really good, I think just the whole framing device of it being like Christmas Eve with this lovely chipmunk family, I think that tone is really well set as well. And it really just, this is a good Christmas short. Like if you like, well, maybe it's a bit depressing because, all of humanity is dead. But, if you can get past that, this is something really nice to watch around Christmas time. It's just I just really got caught up emotionally in this short. It's just really lovely and really effective in its messaging.
Yeah. And there is something to end that one on in terms of like, okay, no matter what, there will be, even though it is depressing in the moment, it does end on that sort of hopeful, on that hopeful notion. Like that sort of, like things will improve overall. Like the worst of the worst may happen, but there is going to be that sort of bright light.
Yeah, like no matter what happens, there will always be a tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. So before we end our show, are there any final thoughts you'd like to share, Jacob, or anything you'd like to promote?
I was really glad to be a part of this podcast, and I got nothing to promote. If you, I update my blog on and like on my own Substack, which is jacobsanchez.substack.com. I haven't updated it in a while, but I have ideas that I want to eventually post on there. So yeah. Follow me on Twitter at puntrash, pun_trash.
All right. Well, thank you, Jacob, for coming on the show. And thank you, listener, for tuning in. This has been the Short Podcast about short films. Until next time, goodbye.